Hey folks, how you all doing? Lloyd here, or Mr. Hats as I'm known in the VC. Today I'm going to be doing a contest entry. This is for Larry Graves, the Canadian Studmuffin, who's just about to celebrate 20 years on YouTube. Congratulations, mate. I've been following your channel, geez, I don't know, for about 5 or 6 years now, since just before I started my original channel. And yeah, a lot of light-hearted humour on Larry's channel, so if you've never been over there, go over there. He does some proper serious videos. A lot of his content is Beatle related, or John Paul George Ringo related, Yoko even. He's a fan of Yoko Ono as well, and the Sparks. So if you're interested in those sort of artists and classic rock artists, head over and see the Canadian Studmuffin. So he's got this contest that's going to be going for the next month or so, I guess, and 5 simple prompts. First one, mention 3 favourite channels. He wants us all to mention Canadian Studmuffin as well, so there you go, Larry. I've mentioned you straight off, mate. I've got a number of channels in my beanie here because I don't like rattling them off and then forgetting someone, so I thought a random pick, no one can be upset with what I'm picking or think I've missed them out. So the first one, I've got about 20 channels in here. First one, I've got Morten Astad. He's up there in Scandinavia, has a great channel. A lot of Britpop type stuff, super grass, super furry animals, all that sort of stuff. Some classic rock as well. He's a big fan of Neil Finn, Split Enz, Crowded House, Tim Finn, etc. He's also a big fan of INXS, another Australian band, and the gorgeous Kylie Minogue. So head over there and see what Morten's got to offer. One here, Doug the Auditory Vinyl, great channel. He usually comes out with some out of left field type stuff in some of his videos. It's just absolutely hilarious. The time and effort that guy must put into making some of his contest entries is just beyond belief. He must take hours scrolling through stuff to find stuff that's just niche enough to fit. He's also a great country music fan, so that's where I've sort of got on with his channel over the years, just because he does show a lot of country. He has a true love for country, so head over there as well. And finally, third one I'm going to show is Mike from PC31, the Vinyl Policeman. Great guy from the UK. He's into his Pink Floyd. He's a big Pink Floyd fan. He's a big punk rock fan. So if you want to watch videos on punk, like The Clash especially, head over there. He's great with all that stuff. He's a big Bruce Springsteen fan as well. He loves buying box sets of things and unboxing them. He's probably the best video maker of box set unboxings in the VC, in my opinion. So yeah, that's 3. As you can see, there's lots and lots of ones still in there, so if you wasn't picked out, you can be sure that your name was in there somewhere along the line. Next prompt is show 3 favourite bands. So I'm not going to show my 5 favourite bands, sorry. I'm not going to show my top 5 because later in the year I will be doing a top 50 or top 100 bands that I love. So I don't want to show the top 5 right now because that'll spoil the video. So I'm going to show 5 that will be fairly high on my list, and some maybe in my top 5. We'll have to find out. First up, I have the brilliant Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Or Crosby, Stills and Nash. I actually think they were better without Neil Young. They were more of a complete unit. They sort of, I think their music after this album seemed to fragment when Neil Young was with them. He's a very destructive force, in my opinion. Another band, I guess. I've always said I'm not a Pink Floyd fan, but yeah, someone told me recently that I must be, because I have 5 copies of this on vinyl. I have every album from this one right the way through to Momentary Lapse of Reason. I have all of David Gilmour's and the vast majority of Roger Waters. So I guess I am a fan of Pink Floyd. This one is my favourite group of all time, the brilliant Small Faces, with the brilliant Steve Marriott on vocals, who went on to form Humble Pie. Another favourite band of mine, Dire Straits. Never made a bad album. I love all 6 of their albums. There's 6, isn't there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums. I love all 6 albums. I think they're fantastic. I love most of Mark Knopfler's solo works as well. Also, another band that never made a bad album that I love, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Their music ranges from really dirty, grungy rock right through to beautiful ballads, almost gospel-esque at times, but the lyrics are always deep, dark and mysterious. The next prompt, 5 favourite solo artists. Well, 5 of my favourite solo artists happen to be brilliant singer-songwriter Chris Christopherson. So this one's for you, Doug. I'm sure you'll appreciate that one. Another great singer-songwriter, and probably the only other artist besides Bob Dylan who deserves a Nobel Prize in literature, and that is the brilliant Leonard Cohen. Another guy who's never ever made a bad album. Superb artist in my opinion. Next up, my first true love of music, brilliant Elvis Presley. So Mark Morris tries to, on his channel, he likes to show Welcome to My Nightmare by Alice Cooper, or Alice Cooper in general, whenever he gets the chance, and I can't help but show Leo Sayer when I get the chance. So Leo Sayer's up there as well for me. And also over the last 3 years I've become a huge fan of Prince, thanks to Lynn. She's got, I think he released 40 studio albums. She's got about 36 of them, and the majority of them on vinyl. You listen to his stuff after, say, Sign of the Times, when his star waned a bit, and his material is absolutely brilliant. It's as good, if not better, than his popular, successful period of the 1980s mid to mid-90s. Great artist. Finally, another great singer-songwriter as a solo artist. Only ever released 2 albums. That's the brilliant Sixto Rodriguez. This is his debut album. Absolutely brilliant. He's got a lot of social awareness, social commentary, just like Bob Dylan, except he's got a beautiful, soulful voice, but very similar in vein to Bob Dylan. Only, yeah, his voice is... I'm a big fan of Bob Dylan, but yeah, I've never met anyone that doesn't like Rodriguez's voice. Great artist. The 4th prompt, name me 5 favourite albums. Well, that's going to be another list later in the year that I'll be doing, so I don't want to show you all those. Anyway, I've just got 4 of these out at the moment, which is really strange. I'll just grab another one from my list. Yes, show your 5 favourite albums. I'm going to show 5 of my favourite albums that will be up there, probably within my top 10 albums of all time. The brilliant One and Only album by the Sex Pistols. This is punk at its highest energy. Great stuff, full of attitude. Also, the only punk album that you could say is on par with Nevermind the Bollocks. That's the debut album, self-titled, by The Clash. To me, it was all downhill after this album. Give 'Em Enough Rope was almost as good as this one, but then they got too eclectic, too far away from the punk ethos. But yeah, great album. Another country album here, one of the finest, probably the finest country album of all time. Certainly one of the greatest albums of all time. Willie Nelson's Red-Headed Stranger. And this was from 1974, I believe. 1975. This one contains the massive mega hit Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Next up, we're going to go for the greatest hard rock album of all time, Back in Black by AC/DC. Right from When the Bell Tolls at the beginning of the album to the end of Have a Drink on Me. Absolute masterclass, in my opinion. And number 5 on my list, I was trying to keep away from the Beatles specifically. I know Larry loves the Beatles, but I thought, you know, I'll stick away from the Beatles because I could have had the Beatles in there. I could have had 2 or 3 of their albums, a Wings album, whatever. But this is the one I just picked up just then. It was the first in my pile from my 100 greatest albums of all time. And it's the Plastic Ono album, John Lennon. Absolutely harrowing. It's his Primal Scream album. Absolute masterclass. There's nothing, I've never heard an album similar to this. It's just absolutely brilliant. And I think it was pretty much all downhill for John after this album. Yeah, he had a couple of really great albums, but this is the one, this is the benchmark for me, and probably the greatest solo album by any Beatle as well. So the 5th part of this is your best and worst concerts that you've been to. Well, actually, I don't think I've ever been to bad concerts as such, by international artists, so artists that aren't Australian. The worst concert I went to, it was actually Rod Stewart, but Rod Stewart wasn't the problem. It was his support act, and that was a young Australian blues rock pub rock band at the time called Cold Chisel. The lead singer Jimmy Barnes, I think he downed a bottle and a half of vodka during their 40-minute set, hour set. He was falling over on stage, slurring, staggering. It was just a complete abortion of a concert. Didn't endear me to the band till years later after that pathetic effort. So the worst has to be Cold Chisel as a support act for Rod Stewart back in around 1980-ish, I guess. The best concert, don't know if I've had a best concert ever, but I've seen Kiss probably around 7 times. Always buy tickets. As soon as I hear Kiss are coming, I buy a ticket. They put on a fantastic live show each and every time. And I would have to say probably the Finn Brothers. I've seen Split Enz a couple of times. Crowded House 3 times, I think. I've seen Neil Finn on, I don't know, half a dozen occasions, either on his own, with the band, with Tim Finn as a duo. I've seen Tim Finn a couple of times, etc. So I'd have to put the Finn Brothers slash Split Enz slash Crowded House up there as well, simply because I go and see them every time. They never put on a bad show. And probably Chris Isaak. He puts on an exceptional show. He's very... he involves the audience with his shows every time. He laughs, he jokes, he carries on. He invites members of the audience on stage. He walks through the crowd crooning. And so that's another great artist to go and see live. But yeah, no real bad artists, and no... Everyone puts on a great show. That's their job. Anyway, that's my entry into Larry's competition to celebrate his 20 years in YouTube. God, I'm never going to make 20 years. I'll be dead before I probably get to 15. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, if you haven't checked out Larry's channel, I'm sure you all have. Everyone knows the Canadian Studmuffin in the VC. So, you know, I'll leave a link anyway below to his original video for this contest. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, take care. All for now. Catch you around, and bye, folks.